Hey YouTube fam, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another DIY video, and I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful 3-tiered jewelry holder. I was looking for a place where I could throw in my earrings, my bracelets, my rings, and I found that I was just throwing them on top of my dresser, and I wanted something that wasn't necessarily a jewelry box. So I decided to make this particular jewelry holder, and if you want to see how I made this, keep on watching. So the first thing you're going to need is going to be one of those Dollar Tree serving trays. They're the round ones. They have different shapes there. You want to make sure you polish that off as much as possible to get it as shiny and as mirrored-like as possible, because you won't have another chance to do that later on in the project. Next, I'm also going to be using these Octagon shape, I think they're candle holders from the Dollar Tree. They also have the circle ones that will work really well with this particular project. And if you wanted to go with the acrylic route and that acrylic look, you could also use these round plastic plates that are also available at the Dollar Tree. Next, I'm also going to be using some of these Cordial glasses. They come in a pack of 6. I really like the detail at the bottom of the glasses, and I thought it would work really well to give me the height that I'm looking for. I'm also going to use some of these little storage containers. I don't have the original packaging, but they are literally called storage containers, mini storage containers. I'm going to use some diamond wrap and also the other products listed on the screen there. So once I had my plate polished off and my mirror polished off, and I took off the sticker and that little rubbery backing on the plates, I went ahead and started gluing these acrylic gems. I just kind of threw them in a little dish so for ease of access. And this is the method I use because they have a really pointy end. You want to make sure that you don't put too much glue so it's not oozing, but then enough to kind of hold it up. So I added a dot of glue and very carefully twirled it so that I would remove as much of the webbing as possible. Then I got down on about eye level to make sure that I was able to get it to dry up straight, and there is a little bit of a beveled edge on the sides of those particular mirrors, so you don't want to glue it there. You want to glue it on the area where it's completely flat. Then I just kind of tapped it and blew on it to make sure that it dried, and this is what it looks like. You have to be very careful to try to have these dry up straight, otherwise they'll just look really terrible. And also, if you wanted to use another glue, I'm using the Gorilla Hot Glue, but if you wanted to use E6000 or super glue or something, that is up to you, but you just gotta deal with the drying time. You're gonna have to stand there and wait for it to dry so that it actually dries up straight. So this was the best option for me since I do not have the time for this. And again, I just used a small little dab, got on eye level, and made sure it dried. So ultimately, I had an acrylic gem at every corner of the mirrors, and now it was time to position them and decide how I was going to have them look on the actual tray. So once I decided that, I started gluing my pieces together. I glued 2 of the Cordial glasses together by adding some glue, carefully adding some glue on the rim because you don't want that to drip down. And I glued them together this way because I wanted the detail at the bottom to show. And then I just used some diamond wrap to basically hide the area where the glue was, and it worked out really nicely. Now that's going to be my tallest tier, and then now working on the shortest one, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to be using the small mini storage containers the exact same way by gluing them at the rim and then adding some diamond wrap to hide the glue. And I had that situated. I went ahead and started gluing the pieces on. It would have been nice if I could make this rotate. I think it would look so cool. I'm gonna have to figure something out and see if it's something I can do, but ultimately it's just gonna be stationary. And I just started gluing the, I guess we'll call them the legs, down on the tray. So I started with the shortest tier, and then I added the second tier, which was just 1 of the Cordial glasses with nothing else, and then my tallest tier was 2 Cordial glasses glued together, and I ended up with this triangular shape for the spacing. And next it was time to glue on the actual mirrors, and I added, again, very carefully added the glue to the rim of the second Cordial glass, making sure nothing's dripping down, and then getting it about eye level, I was able to center it onto that. I also wanted to add some diamond wrap along the edge there, but I thought it might be too much, so that's something I might do later on. Now, to mimic the design all over, to make sure it was more uniform, I decided to add more of the acrylic gems along the rim of the tray at the bottom, and I mimicked the spacing that I did on the actual mirror, so that way it looked better. Next, I had a little piece of a dowel left over. I just covered up that piece, it's just a wooden piece, in diamond wrap, and then I glued it in the center of one of the plates. And I also glued another cordial glass on the tallest tier because that's where I would like to put my bracelet. When I was gluing that, I was not standing directly in front of it, so I have a little bit of, it's a little bit crooked and it's got that DIY look that I hate, but hey, that I try to remove it and that glue is not going anywhere, so it's gonna have to do. And ultimately this is what it looks like. If you are standing at a certain angle, you may be able to see the imperfections, but for me it works just fine. And if you like this video, guys, give it a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments. Leave me a comment if you have any other video ideas. Follow me on my social media if you don't already do, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. Bye bye.